Go ahead, look at the screen, Cole. Look at the screen.
Hey, NFL fans, welcome to another episode of NFL Jocks and Pigskins. I'm Dave Holcomb with Tom Pollen and Chris Smitherhan behind the scenes. He's back from vacation.
And Clo.
Yeah, we got the full crew here this morning.
Yep.
So we have another fun show for you today. Week 10 in the NFL. The Atlanta Falcons coming off of a big win, although almost another heartbreaking loss.
Almost.
We'll dive into that, preview the Falcons Cowboys matchup, and have some, as always, Tom's picks against the spread and his prize picks in week 10.
Yep. You got it. We're going to make something happen this week.
This video brought to you by Prize Picks, #1 sports app out there. Check it out. Make sure you sign up with our promo code ASU. That gets you a 100% match up to $100 on your first deposit. So we'll have picks for you later on in the show that you can use this weekend to, you're going to double that, say, $20, $30 deposit by the match, and then hopefully you double it again with our picks.
Exactly. I got 3 good ones for you this week. So, and you know something? I want to start hearing how everybody else has done from week to week. A lot of our fans, people who are watching the show, tell me how you did last week. Tell me how you did, next week. Tell me how you did. I want to hear. Let's see if you can outguess me. Outpick me. All right? Make it a little competition here.
Yeah.
All right? And if you want to make your game picks too and see if you can outpick me, go ahead. That's fine. You're dealing with the expert here. So Illinois Tom, that's Chicago Tom. That's you're in for a rough ride, but hey, let's see what you got.
Absolutely.
Bring it. Come on.
One other thing I want to mention, I said I was going to do this every Saturday in November. It's No Shave November, growing out my beard this month. And it's not just a lazy man month. There is a cause behind No Shave November, prostate cancer. The money that you would be spending on your shaving products this month, donate those towards prostate cancer. I'm challenging you to do that this year. Let's raise some money for a great cause.
Yeah, very good. Always a fantastic cause. Very dangerous type of cancer. So definitely a good cause to donate to.
And one other, house cleaning item that I wanted to discuss: Monday Night Football. The Steelers beating your Bears, Tom.
They got lucky. The Bears were facing the Steelers and Tony Correnti. Oh God! What a lame officiated game.
I was waiting. I was anticipating your hatred for the referees. Yeah, it was I think it was one of the ugliest NFL games I've watched all around. I thought the broadcasters were terrible. I thought the referees were terrible, and both teams were terrible. It was an awful Monday night game.
It really was. There's almost, they had that touchdown taken off the board. You can block low within the tight end box. And Daniels was within the tight end box. That was not a good call. That was a terrible call that took the touchdown off the board for the Bears.
They also missed a false start on that play. So it shouldn't have been a touchdown anyway, but they called the wrong penalty.
Yes, it should have been. But should have been a touchdown. They didn't miss a false start.
No, there was a false start on that play.
There was?
They missed several false starts.
I didn't see that one.
They called every offsides on the Bears, but there was a couple false starts they missed.
I'm telling you, that taunting penalty just, oh, God, was I so...
I bet.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Steelers.
I would love to hear from our listeners what they thought about that taunting penalty. That's been a discussion.
The Falcons got called for a taunting penalty last week, too.
Yeah.
And I don't think was a taunting penalty. So, I mean, this is just getting ridiculous. And Marsh, the guy who got called for the taunting penalty for the Bears, he's getting fined for it this week.
Wow.
Not only did he not taunt, not only did he get called for a BS penalty, he's getting fined for it. He just heard from the NFL office today. It was released today.
How much
So
did he get fined?
a little over $5,000. So basically half his game check
Yeah, I mean that's a
for a
player that
penalty
I
that's
mean
not.
that was his first game of the season, right?
Yes, it
He's
was.
been in the practice squad for a
Played
couple
well,
years.
actually. I thought he played fairly well coming in off the practice squad. But yeah, just terrible, terrible officiating. Uh,
Is
boy,
Tony Crenti going to get fined for that hip check?
nope, nope, he's not. He's not. I tell you, no. Oh God, yeah, I know. That was terrible. Excuse me a little bit. I got the coughs today, so I might.
Yeah, no
Uh,
problem. Um,
but you know,
I thought
and see, 5 minutes into the show, Justin Fields did a heck of a job bringing that team back. I'm
he
telling
did.
you,
He
he
did.
did some great passes to get the team back in.
Ray McLeod's fumble helped him out quite a bit, but
Yes, it did.
Justin Fields played very well.
I tell you, Justin Fields rolling to his left, which normally is a difficult throw for a quarterback. He throws just dimes on that rolling to the left. Uh, he's very good at it, and did it a couple of times last game. Did it a couple of times the game previous. Uh, Bears fans were very encouraged by the way Fields played, and just completely peed off about the officiating, and the defense was not good. All right, the defense did. Uh, uh, Kinder Vildor is just terrible as a safety. Cannot play very well. Uh, so uh, Gary Holcomb looked to me like Marsh also bumped the ref, no, it was the ref that hip checked Marsh.
Yeah, it was. The replay pretty clearly shows that Tony Crenti bumped into Marsh.
Yeah.
Not Marsh was trying to go around him.
Mhm.
That's what I saw. That's what I saw.
That's what I
What
saw.
did you think of the field goal attempt? I thought that was a horrible decision by Nagy. You have Justin Fields, who has a fantastic arm, who has been throwing some really great passes all night long. And look, I don't have the access to what Cairo Santos did pregame at Heinz Field Monday night, but it couldn't have been much better than what he did at the end of that game. He missed that field goal, unlike what Steve Levy said. Steve Levy thought that it hit the crossbar.
I don't know what Levy.
The fact that he did not look, my wife and I talked to my mom after the game. They thought it hit the crossbar too, but they're watching. They're tired. It's late at night. They want to go to bed. It's more than understandable for them to miss it.
You're watching it from the end zone camera too, and it's difficult to tell.
Right, but Levy's at the game. He should be watching on the field.
Right. He knows where.
Why isn't he watching the game?
He knows where the ball is. He's watching the monitor instead of watching the field.
Right, exactly. So that field goal attempt was like 7-8 yards short.
Yes, it was, and it was terrible. Cairo Santos doesn't have that long of a leg. He can't kick a 60-yarder. He can't do it. It's not in his range.
And it wasn't horrible weather at Heinz Field Monday night, but that's a really hard place to kick field goals. So you don't have a great leg, and it's a tough place to kick. That has to be a Hail Mary attempt.
It has to be. Absolutely. And you got the guys who can do it. Allen Robinson is great at contested catches. Wonderful concentration. Robinson, Moody down in the end zone. And I don't know if Graham has the speed to get down there anymore, but, Graham and Cole Kmet, you got a chance to make a play at the end of the game, which had a lot better odds than Cairo Santos actually kicking that field goal. Yeah. You knew from the start. He was accurate. He had the accuracy, just way short.
Right. It made me a little nervous that they were kicking the field goal, because I was like, really? They really believe he can make this? Wow. And then it was straight, and I was holding my breath like, oh, wow, it's online. But it was, and then Levy made me believe for a second that, wow, he barely missed it, but that wasn't obviously.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought for a second, but no, after watching it, it fell far short. So, but it was an exciting game, and now the Bears take a week off, and the Steelers get to play the Lions, and We'll see what happens this weekend. The Steelers still actually that good, or um, you know, we'll see.
I think next week we'll be talking about the Steelers being the worst first place team in the league because somehow they are going to be in first place if they beat the winless Lions, thanks to the Miami Dolphins beating the Ravens on Thursday night,
Yep,
which was an incredible game. But
amazing
the
how
AFC is just chaos, chaos. That
well. Last week, um, favorites went 4-10. All right, they're 10-4 for underdogs. Last week was the record. It's just incredible. You don't see weeks like that
yeah,
where the underdog just rises up. 10 games, and Jacksonville beat Buffalo. How
right.
the hell did Jacksonville beat Buffalo? I
Yeah.
still don't. I still don't get that.
My
It's amazing.
My favorite stat of the weekend, the first time a defensive player with the same name as the quarterback sacking.
Yes, yes, that was fantastic. I know Josh Allen had a hell of a game, but it was the other Josh Allen.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Josh Allen against Josh Allen. So yeah, I mean, Steelers still got to beat the Steelers still got to beat the Lions, but man, you're drawing the worst team in the league at home, and you win that game, you're in first place.
Yeah.
And it was a month ago we were talking about the Steelers picking top 5 or being just a bad team, and they might still be a bad team. Full disclosure.
I don't think they're a good team.
I don't think so either.
It's just
But
again,
they're probably going to be 6-3.
you might have the best coach team in the NFL. Najee Harris is actually turning into a hell of a running back.
He is. Yeah.
That rebuilt offensive line is coming together. So, no, Gary. There's no such thing as a trap game when you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right.
Well, if like the Ravens were up next, I would say maybe, but they do have a good team up after the Lions. They have the Chargers, but they're not looking ahead.
Not a trap game.
The bigger thing I'm concerned about is the Lions just had a bye, and the Steelers have a short week. That's the disadvantage.
Yeah, that's true. Right. But the Lions are number 32 in my statistical power rankings.
Yeah, I'm not saying the Steelers are definitely going to win. I don't know with this team, but they should win. It's a game they have to win if they're going to be a playoff team.
Yes, they should win. Absolutely. Yeah. Right.
Well, we said that for the Falcons to be a playoff team, they had to steal one of these, at least one of the next 3 games, starting last week. And they've done that through the first week of this 3-week stretch that we were talking about with the schedule, with road games against the Saints, Cowboys, and then home against the Patriots next Thursday night. So, I mean, there's lots of ways to look at that last game from the Falcons, but the team is looking at it as, hey, we won, we're back at 500, and we got another tough road game, but an opportunity to go above 500, third opportunity this season to do that.
And guess what? If the season had ended after last week, the Falcons would be in the playoffs. They're holding down the 7th seed.
Right.
It's really amazing what they've managed to do, considering how bad they played at times this year.
Right.
They are still holding on.
Mm-hmm.
So,
a tough game against the Cowboys. I am a very optimistic person, but after that loss, the win against the Saints, I couldn't help but be very pessimistic about just blowing that lead. And the point differential in the fourth quarter is outrageous, -57.
Yeah.
And it's other than just to say that the defense isn't very good and the running game isn't very good. I don't know what else, to say about the fourth quarter struggles. I mean, when they have a big lead like that, though, they do have to be able to somehow establish a ground game. And last week,
they do
yards per carry.
And neither Davis or Patterson did well on the ground.
Yeah.
They couldn't get anything going on the ground. But again, it's tough to get something going on the ground when you're not getting any penetration by the offensive line.
Right.
When your running back is getting met at the line of scrimmage, it's impossible to break anything. So it's just it's rough to see the struggles in the running game, but it's not necessarily the backs that are the problem. Uh,
Of course.
you
Hmm.
know, the offensive line is not getting any push. You got to get at least 2 to 3 yards up the field when you're running the ball, or else you know you might get some yards after contact, uh, but
You're not going to sustain drives. You're not going
you're
to.
sustain it right exactly. So that worries me as far as the running game. The passing game, I'm telling you, Matt Ryan just leaves it out there every week. Ryan just guy's a warrior.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. That was an incredible game from him. All him that win, basically.
yes, it was. It really was. He found Zacchaeus a couple of times in the end zone. Not easy passes, but made them work. Caught Patterson on the sideline to make that comeback happen. And Mike Davis almost blew the ball. Mike Davis, oh,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
You're,
And then after that, they just kneed on the ball. They're like, okay, we're not
which
messing
is
around
what
anymore.
they should have done in the first place.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my
But
God.
so you share my concerns. I don't think any lead is safe with this team right now.
No, it's amazing. The Falcons had that game put away. It was done. Um, Now, the one thing, the entire game, what got me was that they could not stop Alvin Kamara.
Mm.
Kamara just ran over them the entire game. And, that was a rough thing, but um,
Yeah. I thought the Saints could have stuck with him more.
so do I.
Sean Payton, it made it clear. It was very clear that they came out and were trying to run the ball
Yeah.
all over the Falcons early in
And
the
they were
first
doing a
quarter.
great job of it.
Yeah. And then, there were a couple of running plays where it was 2 yards, 3 yards. It wasn't the 9 yards they were getting the
Well, I
first
tell
few.
you, Mark Ingram was not running well. Okay.
Hmm.
The Falcons were able to stop Mark Ingram. They couldn't stop Alvin Kamara the entire game.
Mark Ingram had a few good runs early. Like I think the first 2 carries were 9 yards for him.
But
And then
Kamara
they
was
stopped, and then they started playing. Falcons started playing a little bit better. But I think the Saints could have been with Trevor Siemian at quarterback. Could have been a little bit more committed to that.
true. But then I don't think Simeon actually played a bad game.
He played a really good fourth quarter.
Not just the fourth quarter. His wide receivers are terrible.
Well,
The
that's
Saints
true.
Are
That's true.
awful.
That's true. They had a lot of drops. You're right.
It's just incredible how bad they are. Nobody stepped up and made a play for him, and it's impossible to do anything at quarterback. It's impossible to look good at quarterback when your receivers are playing so terribly.
Mhm.
But they played well in the fourth quarter. But again, I don't know what it is about the Falcons' defense in the fourth quarter that just drives me nuts. It's impossible. You can't give up 22 points in the fourth quarter
I
and
know.
expect your quarterback to come back. Now,
Yeah.
fortunately, they have one of the best quarterbacks in the game all time as far as being able to make a comeback. But it's just, you don't want to be counting on that the entire game. You've got a comfortable lead. You got to finish.
Yeah.
You got to finish it.
Right. Well, I point back to the running game, the offensive line not getting a push. You're not going to be able to possess the ball, get first downs, grind the clock in the fourth quarter if you're averaging under 2 yards per carry.
Right.
I mean, I guess you can also say, well, where's Matt Ryan in the fourth quarter? Where's the passing game? Can they get first downs and run out the clock with the passing game? Well, I mean, they can, but the whole point of your ground game is that's when you need it.
Right.
That's to run out the clock. And
good teams grind out the clock in the fourth quarter.
It wasn't even like, a 4-minute offense. They were up by 18 with 10 minutes to go.
Yes.
And then I guess they were up by 11 with like 8 minutes to go the next time they got the ball after Zacchaeus scored his second touchdown. So that you got to possess the ball more and run out more clock.
Yes, you do. Absolutely.
Because I mean, they did such a poor job of running out the clock that Matt Ryan had enough time to come back.
Yes,
You can look at it that way
true.
too.
Right, right. The Saints gave him a chance to make a play, and as I say, Ryan, I think uh, top five all time as far as game winning drives and fourth quarter comebacks. So if he's not top five, seventh or eighth. I don't know off the top of my head, but I know he's up there with the greats all time.
Mhm.
So the guy knows how to bring a team back. That's why he's called Matty Ice. Nothing bothers him.
Right,
But
right.
you know, you don't want to have to rely on that week after week. Put the
Mhm.
game away. You know, you've got it good. Falcon O going 3-and-out twice under 10 minutes. Uh, I think the Falcon O going 3-and-out twice was a terrible look. It really, after a while, the D can only do so much, but they didn't perform either.
That's
They didn't
both.
make a big play.
Yeah.
AJ Terrell was the only guy who impressed me on defense uh, against New Orleans. I think Terrell had a hell of a game, but it was both sides, Pantera. Uh, you got to be able to count on your defense to make a stop. You got to be able to count on your offense to do better than 3-and-out,
Yeah.
especially on the ground. You can't
Yeah.
let the clock stop. You got to keep things going. You got to grind. And the Falcons are not capable of grinding out a game right now.
Yeah, I agree with when you blow an 18-point lead with 10 minutes to go, it's more than just one problem.
That's where it is. Yep.
It's multiple issues.
Right. Right.
Um,
Exactly.
and I don't see it getting any better because they
No.
don't have that ability to grind out the clock with the running game or play better on defense. I think it's going to be an issue all season long
It
where
is.
we're on pins and needles in the fourth quarter no matter how big the lead is for Atlanta.
Right. Right. And as I say, there are no secrets in the NFL. Other teams know this. Other teams know what the Falcons do right, what they do wrong, what they can't do. Uh, Falcons were showing a lot of zone coverage and on defense in the fourth quarter, and they were just getting beat. They were getting beat all over the field.
So looking ahead to this matchup with the Dallas Cowboys, it's a reunion of sorts facing Dan Quinn, the new defensive coordinator
Yeah,
of the Dallas Cowboys. But Dallas, one of those teams that you talked about with all the upsets last week, they lost big at home to the Denver Broncos.
huge.
I would think that they're going to be much more focused, much better this week, but we'll see.
They got
Atlanta
two
again.
garbage time touchdowns. That was it. I mean,
Yeah,
they
that
were
game
just-
was 30-0.
yeah, right. The game was what was it? The game wasn't as close as it appeared at the end. It really wasn't. Um, the Cowboys were terrible. The Broncos just smoked them out of AT&T Stadium.
So, I mean, how do you see this matchup breaking down?
Can they stop Ezekiel Elliott? Because again, you've got to make a statement against somebody's ground game. And the Cowboys will run the ball. They'll keep going with Elliott if he's gaining yards. This is Mike McCarthy. This isn't, well, I was about to say Sean Payton knows how to coach too, but McCarthy will keep it on the ground if that's where the yards are coming from. I don't know if Dak Prescott is completely healthy yet, or if he came back a week too early. I haven't been able to figure out that Dallas game at all last week. I don't know what went wrong because this is a team that looked like it was one of the best in the NFC for a while.
Yeah.
It really did look like they were just steamrolling opponents. Dak Prescott was playing. I know I've heard a lot of other players being, put up for Offensive Player of the Year, but I think Dak Prescott was right up there with what he was doing. With Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb at wide receiver, Elliott, they were giving the ball to Elliott. They showed faith in Elliott to run the ball. And you know, I don't know what happened last week. I still got to watch that condensed game because
Hmm.
uh, if Elliott, I mean, if Dak Prescott's healthy, this is a tough game for the Falcons to stay in. Um, I don't know if you know they don't have the defense that Denver has. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Okay.
Denver has a top defense, even though they were missing Von Miller.
Yeah.
That
Right.
didn't play for them last week. Uh, you also have one of the best defensive coordinators, in the league as your head coach, and Vic Fangio, knew what to do against Dallas. Uh, I don't know. I would think if Dallas plays the way they're capable of, this is going to be a tough game for the Falcons to win again because they can't grind, they can't keep the ball out of Dak's hands on offense, and they're not going to be able to stop Elliott on defense. So I don't like this matchup for the Falcons.
Saints are number one in run defense. So that could have been a big reason why the Falcons struggled so badly on the ground last week. But Dallas is 10th. So it might not be all that much easier against the Cowboys. And I think in order to win this game, they got to do what you said they can't do. And I have my doubts that they'll be able to do it too. But in order to win this game, I do think, Mike Davis and whoever's back there, they activated Quadri Olson last week. He might be, I would think he's going to be active again, which means Cordell Patterson probably not in the backfield as much, more catching passes like in New Orleans. But whoever's in the backfield, they got to establish some kind of running game against a top 10 run defense.
Yeah, they have to. And I'm telling you something, Dave, that the running game is making a comeback in the NFL this year.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, it's great to see.
It really is. There are a lot of teams winning by grinding out, the football. The Bears are one of them. The Bears have done a great job with David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert. And you're seeing a lot of teams running the ball effectively. Pittsburgh, Najee Harris.
I was going to say, yeah. I mean, Roethlisberger's over the hill, and the defense has not been as good as it's been the last 2 years. So, yeah, Najee Harris is a big reason why the Steelers are 5-3.
But that rebuilt offensive line came together, and now Najee Harris is having an effect.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's made a big difference for the Steelers. That's given Roethlisberger a little bit more room with his receivers to throw.
Mm-hmm.
And, it helps because, Roethlisberger just has no zip on the ball anymore. I mean, God. But the Bears' secondary isn't very good either, so he had a great time last week.
He threw 2 touchdowns. Other than that, it was kind of rough.
Yeah, Freiermuth, man, that guy is a heck of a tight end.
Oh, I love him. Yeah, he's looking great. Looking great.
But I'll tell you, Kyle Pitts, I love the fact that he and Ryan have really established something this year. But I think the Falcons played well with their passing game. Ryan was a little bit pressured, but he got the ball to Pitts. Pitts makes some great catches for him. Cordell Patterson made some great catches for him, but still, you've got to get Davis and Patterson going on the ground, or you're not going to be effective against the Cowboys. The Cowboys will tear you apart if you keep giving them the football. Denver, the Cowboys only had the ball 18 minutes last week. All right, the entire game. So it tells you Denver really just wore them down on offense, on their defense, and with their offense.
Dallas had the ball for 18 minutes?
Dallas had the ball for 18 minutes. That was their time of possession. So, that's the key to the Falcons this week is being able to grind the ball, hang on to the ball, keep the ball out of Dak's hands. Because if you give the ball to Dak with time, and give him enough drives, he's going to tear you up.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't see the game unfolding very well for the Falcons, unfortunately. But, I didn't think they were going to win last week either. So
I thought they were going to win.
You thought they were going to beat the Saints?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought so. I don't think Trevor Simeon's much as a quarterback. I thought.
Well, no, but I just thought the Saints would be able to do so much on the ground that would be enough.
Yeah, and it should have been. Actually, it should have been. I'm surprised Sean Payton really did not coach well. Did not stay with what was working, and tried to pass too much when he saw that his wide receivers just can't do anything. It's God, their receiver group is awful.
They were really bad. Yeah. I think Sean Payton sometimes tries to be smarter than everybody else.
That's the thing, and that's the problem with Matt Nagy too here in Chicago.
Yeah,
wants to be the smartest man in the room instead of doing what it takes to win. You want people to see how smart you are when you win. And yes, Sean Payton is one of them. Got to be the smartest man in the room, no matter what, instead of just staying with what works. Mike Tomlin does not need to be the smartest man in the room.
He doesn't.
And you see why. He just kept working with what works for them. And that was the problem. And I don't think Arthur Smith is a guy who has to be the smartest man in the room.
I don't think so. No.
I think he's willing to do, if he sees something working, he's going to stick with it.
Yeah.
And I like that out of Smith. But you got these coaches who just feel like it has to be them. It has to be about them. And Matt Nagy is one of them. And I agree with you. I think you are absolutely correct. Sean Payton's one of them.
I think Sean Payton, the running game was working, but then Sean Payton said, I'm going to win this game with Trevor Siemian leading the way, and everyone's going to say, how great of a coach I am.
Right, because I got Trevor Siemian going.
Yeah.
I made this guy a quarterback when he failed with the Broncos. I turned him into a quarterback.
Yeah.
So, yes, I think that is it exactly.
Yeah. So it should be an exciting game in Dallas. A 1:00 kickoff tomorrow.
Yep.
Lots of other great matchups in Week 10, and hopefully we do a little bit better against the spread. I mean, last week was just crazy.
Oh, God. I was one game under 500 against the spread, and I pick all games against the spread.
Right.
And that's not easy being one game under 500 against the spread. Look at all your national experts who make picks. None of them get over 500 against the spread. It's not an easy thing to do. And I got torn apart last week. It was terrible. Oh, man. Took a beating.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, I think everybody did when you got 10 upsets.
Yeah. Some days you get the Bears, some days the Bear gets you. So, I mean.
Yeah, and that's not even counting, the Bears covered. If you win,
covered,
the Steelers, that wasn't an upset, but a cover. So
came very damn near close to being.
Yeah.
The Dolphins, kept the string of upsets going Thursday night against the Ravens.
Yeah, that's true.
Where was the Ravens' offense? Yeah, they just completely disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing what the Dolphins were able to do. The 2020's Dolphins defense showed up last week. And did a job. So
I did not watch the game. I was at a Rolling Stones concert.
I saw that on Facebook. You posted a picture.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So,
yeah, they were playing at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Excellent concert.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, they always put on a good show. I mean, it's basically Mick and Keith anymore, but still, especially with Charlie Watts passing.
Right.
But still they put on a show.
They do.
Has it going.
I was sitting a little bit higher than where this picture is taken from. That's behind us. I was much higher than that.
Okay.
For the concert, but it was a great view. I was straight. It was straight ahead. I didn't have to turn my head. That was great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah, sometimes the cheap seats can be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I was happy with.
That's all you want to be able to do is see. I mean, you just want to see what's going on.
Yeah. And I mean, it's, you don't really have to see. Yeah, they do a lot of stuff on stage, but it's a kind of, it's music. You're listening. So it doesn't really matter where you're sitting. You can hear them.
Yeah, Stones still do it. Amazingly, Keith Richards, I don't know how that guy's still living. Uh, I think he did just about every drug and drank just about everything in his younger days. He looks like he shouldn't still be living. He looks like death frozen over, but I'm telling you, the guy is just something else.
He
Guy's
is.
going.
Yeah, still rolling. The
I, I,
Stones.
I wish
still
I had
rolling.
a body like him. I'm telling you, because I don't think there's anything he didn't do. you
With
know,
what? With drugs?
drugs and
Oh yeah.
alcohol in the early days. I don't think there's
Yeah.
anything he didn't do, and he's still going strong.
There was
I
a
mean,
couple of close calls for him, right?
yeah, but come on.
Yeah.
I, how old is he now? He's got to be in the 70s.
I think he's 78. I'll have
Yeah,
to double check that.
that's amazing. Nobody could get away with what he did and still be alive. It just doesn't work.
He's on his ninth life. He is 77, younger than I thought.
77. Okay.
He will turn 78 next month.
Yeah, yeah. So, and still plays a mean guitar. Still one of the best in the business. And
Mick Jagger's also 78. Charlie Watts was 80, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Charlie Watts was 80.
That's why I thought they were both 82, but they are a young 78.
Well, Charlie Watts was, the drummer, the oldest guy in the group. That's the thing with the Beatles. Ringo Starr, he was the oldest guy in the group. He sometimes, that's just what you get. So, you need an experienced drummer to make it big.
That's
and
true.
Both groups, did it right. God, it's amazing that the Stones are still going.
I know.
But
I hope
the Who are still going. So I mean,
what's that?
I said the Who are still going. So I mean,
Yeah.
And Daltrey and Townsend, I think, are about late 70s. And I heard Daltrey interviewed once. He said, "Yeah, we're both deaf as posts, but we're still."
They're not quite as old as the Rolling Stones, are they?
Yeah, I think they are. Yes,
they are.
I think they are.
Well, I mean, like their band. How old is their band?
Oh, they've been going just about as long. Yes.
Just about as long.
Yeah. Maybe started a little bit later, but not much. Mid 60s, late 60s, they were going.
Okay. I guess a few years. I believe. I wonder if the Rolling Stones will have, if they're still living in 2 years, that it'll be their 60th anniversary in 2023. Is their 60th anniversary.
Wow.
So I mean, it's basically a year away. They'll be starting to. I would think they'll have a big tour if they're able to do it.
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
And I'll be going again. I promise you that. If they're in Atlanta, I'll be going again.
Yep. Yeah. Why not?
I love them. But today's video brought to you by Prize Picks, #1 sports app. Check it out. Best thing to do, use our promo code ASU when you sign up. That will give you a 100% match up to $100 on your first deposit. So it's free money, as Tom likes to say. $20, if you deposit that, you get $20. You deposit $80, you get $80. So it's a great way to get started on the app. And we've got your best picks for this week.
I do. I got them. Pantera, just to close out, makes a comment. The cardio workout of rock stars is kin to athletes. And that's true. You really do go through a workout every night when you go on stage, when you're a rock star. Especially, Mick Jagger.
Yeah.
Doesn't play an instrument. He's hopping all over the stage.
Right.
Yeah. He's all over the stage every night. Mm-hmm. So yeah, right. Cardio, boy. Those guys got heart rates that keep them going. It's something. So, but yeah, let's get back to the picks. We got some picks for you. And as I said, I want to hear what your picks are. Tell me. Tell me how you did. Did you beat me? Did you pick better than I did? I want to know. I challenge our audience to pick as well as I do, to beat me on picks, game picks, and prize picks. So that's the challenge to you. That means I got to step up my game. But I'm putting that challenge out there. I want to hear every week. I want those comments down the side. I want to see what you guys did every week. So let's do it.
So what do you want to do first, the game picks or the prize picks?
Let's do some game picks. We're going to start with the Tennessee Titans, who are just tearing apart the AFC for some reason. I don't know how, but
Well, I would say Derrick Henry, but can't say that anymore.
Derrick Henry hadn't even gained 100 yards his final 2 games before getting hurt. So it's not like he was playing a big part in the offense at that point. But Alvin Kamara is going to be out tomorrow. And I don't think Mark Ingram gives them as dangerous a running game. But I think the Titans are better. The Titans play a tough defense. They're really playing tough behind Tannehill now. And they're favored by only 3 points at home against the New Orleans Saints. And I can't see why you wouldn't pick the Titans in that game. The public, seeing betting trends, the public is betting heavily on the Titans. I know some sharps are coming in against the New Orleans Saints, but I don't see the Saints doing this. I think the Titans have a defense that can shut Trevor Siemian down, and I don't see Mark Ingram running the ball as well as Kamara, and Kamara's out. So take the Titans -3 at home. It's a 1:00 game. I had a hard time picking my other games because up to last week, a lot of your big spread games, not only were the favored teams winning, but they were covering. Now, last week tore that to shreds.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Now, normally during a season, teams that are favored by 2 scores have a great record straight up. They win a lot of games. Normally, they don't win against the spread. They're below 500 against the spread. So if you're up 2 scores, sometimes that's a trend that you want to look at. But I don't see anybody that I really have faith in to do that. I would like to say the Lions could do that. A lot of people are picking the Lions to stay within 8 points to the Steelers. I don't think so. A lot of people, as a matter of fact, the Cowboys were favored by 10.5 points yesterday. A lot of sharp money just must have come in on the Falcons because the spread is now -8 for the Cowboys. So, yeah, 1.5 has come off that spread. But even with the sharps coming in on the Falcons, I don't like taking the Falcons. I am going to say take the Buccaneers -9.5 against the Washington football team. The Washington football team, I'm tired of waiting for the Washington football team to come back as far as their defense. They are truly bad on defense. That's just the way it is. And with Ron Rivera as their head coach, that surprises me very much. Because Ron Rivera is one hell of a defensive coach. But these guys, they've been bad all year. Montez Sweat is going to be out. He's got a broken jaw. And Tampa, they can do it on the ground. They can do it through the air. They're a very efficient team. They score very efficiently. You can move the ball on them on the ground, but I don't think Washington has the ground game to do it. And I don't think they do with Taylor Heinicke at quarterback. So, and Heinicke's not that good of a quarterback. So I'm taking the Buccaneers -9.5. Again, another 1:00 game. And my final game, again, Indianapolis Colts are giving 9.5 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm taking the Colts because I don't think the Jaguars can do that again. Besides, Jonathan Taylor is playing a hell of a game. Jonathan Taylor has been carrying this Colts to put this Colts team on his back, and it's been playing really well. Gained 172 yards last week, and the Colts have an outstanding offensive line, so they're not going to get as much pressure on Carson Wentz as they did last week against Josh Allen. The Buffalo Bills don't have as good of an offensive line as the Colts do. And I think the Colts come out and beat the Jacksonville Jaguars minus 9.5. And, that's your three games. Take the Colts, Bucks, and Titans. And,
the Bills, in that game, the Bills also, they had like 10 rushing attempts or something? It was low.
Yeah, right. And the Colts are going to do a lot more rushing against the Jaguars, and they're going to be successful at it because they've been running over everybody the last couple of weeks, and I like the Colts offense. Man, they got off to such a slow start. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs, but I think they're finally coming together as a team. But it's already mid-season, so we'll see how well that goes.
Well, they have the extra week this year to make up.
That's right. We're going to see that. The extra week's going to make a big difference with a lot of teams.
Yeah, I think a lot of those stats that broadcasts love to put up, teams that start 0-2 make the playoffs this percentage of a time. I mean, those percentages are going to go up.
No, the game has changed.
Yeah.
It's different now. So you can come back from a slow start a lot better than you used to. The problem for the Colts is they've lost to the Titans twice. And that was the big. They couldn't split that season series. They needed that second game against the Titans. They couldn't do it, which is another reason why I say Tennessee's a lot better team than anybody's giving them credit for. Ryan Tannehill's playing really well, so I like them to beat the Saints this week.
Okay. Yeah, I think so too. The last fact about the Jaguars, and they're on the road this week in Indianapolis. Last time they won a road game, the NFL doesn't play in that city anymore. They won in Oakland, December 15th, 2019. That's the last road game that the Jaguars won. I'm counting the London game as a home game, or really it's a neutral site game. It's not a road.
It's a neutral site, but they are considered the home team when they go to London.
Yeah.
Which is, I think is an insult to our allies across the pond that we get the Jacksonville Jaguars as a home team. But hey, that's the NFL. They don't care who they insult. They don't care who they tick off. They just do these things.
London should claim Atlanta as their home team. The Falcons. That was the other home team this year in London, right?
They're better off, but still, I mean, it's rough. The NFL doesn't send them anything. So, but okay, prize picks this week. Jonathan Taylor, they have at 90.5 yards. I say take the over. I think Jonathan Taylor's going to have a big week. I think the Colts are going to run the ball. I think Frank Reich is another coach who does not have to be the smartest man in the room and will just do what he needs to do to win a game. And lately, that has been Jonathan Taylor. So take him at 90.5. Austin Eckler, I like at 59.5 yards. I do like the over on that. Let's see. I forgot. Just had my mind blank for a second. They are playing the Vikings. You can run the ball against the Vikings. They are playing at home. The Vikings, I didn't pick the Chargers to win. That wasn't one of my picks against the spread because, let's see, what was the spread in that game? Chargers are favored by 3. And that's one of the games I considered, but the Vikings are a pretty good team. I like what the Vikings do. They lose a lot of close games.
Yeah.
They win a lot of close games. So I just couldn't take that one against the spread. But I do like Austin Eckler. I think he's going to rush for over 59.5 yards. And my third pick. Let's see. Let me call it back up here because I closed it. Having a heck of a time with the computer today. Where was it? Receiving yards. I like Cordero Patterson.
Oh, you're going back to that
but
well.
not rushing.
Okay.
40.5 receiving yards. I do think Cordero Patterson can pick up 40.5 receiving yards. He is a major target for Matt Ryan, and I do think he can do that. So I'm taking Cordero Patterson this time. Now, I'm still mad that the Bears didn't re-sign him, uh, considering what he's done in Atlanta. But I'm going with him as a receiver this week. So let me know what you did. Come on. Yes, Pantera, I know. I went 0-2 last week. Uh, but everybody did terrible last week. And one of my best bets did come in. So I was 1-1-1 on my best bets. So, but yeah, I mean, everybody did bad last week. It was not a pleasant week to be betting to go to the sports books. Sports books made a lot of money last week.
What was the push? You were 1-1-1.
Oh, who was the push? Let me go back to that. Weeknight schedule. Oh, my push was the week before. I went 1-2 on my picks last week.
Oh, okay.
That's
Gotcha.
so. Tony Dave, every you get to a point where the mind just kind of goes a little left on you every now and then. You wait. You'll get there. You're still a young guy. Um, you get up there a little bit more, you're going to wonder where that mind is going sometimes. It
I
happens.
look forward to it.
It happens to the best of us.
Yep.
But hey.
Yep.
So, but I have a lot of faith in my picks this week. So there you go.
All right.
Do better. Tell me what you got. Tell me what you did. I want to see how everybody does. I want to see how our people who follow our show pick. How well do you do? So let's do it.
Well, we have a few minutes left in the show. This doesn't normally happen where we finish up with a few minutes to spare. But how about I ask you? Well, I'll give a shout out to our sponsor once again. This video is brought to you by Prize Picks, the simplest fantasy sports game on the market. You can pick anywhere from 2 to 5 players. Tom loves to pick 3. I love the number 3 as well, so I love that he has 3 picks. And you bet or you pick based on what you based on their point different their spreads, their numbers that they have in their computer, and you can with our promo code ASU, you can get a 100% match on your first deposit. So definitely when you sign up, use the ASU.
And not only when you make your picks, you can actually do that as a flex pick, which means you get one wrong, you still get paid. So it's nice. You get one wrong, you're going to win. That's nice to happen. So yeah, give it a shot. Let me know how you do. I want to hear from our guys. How did you do?
We got, as always, we've talked about, we've got, our own teams. We got the Falcons we're watching, your picks against the spread, and then your prize picks, our fantasy teams. But just from a fan perspective, like just from a football, what's most entertaining matchup? Which matchup are you looking forward to most this weekend?
Wow, that's a good one. One of the 1:00 games, the Cleveland Browns are at Cincinnati. And Cincinnati's another team that laid an egg last week. And
you mean New England?
Oh, I'm still looking at my week 9 schedule. I'm sorry.
That was last week.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah. So, I am looking forward to the Kansas City Chiefs, the Sunday night game against the Raiders.
Real quick, sorry, I just want to clarify, Tom. I'm not mad at Dave. I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the Bengals. That's my team. They last week. Okay, yeah, last week was not a good week, so we're just gonna forget about it.
Browns did them in. Yep. Let's, as I say, the Titans giving 3. You want to take them. because I think they're going to beat the Saints. I don't think the Saints can run the ball as well against the Titans, and I don't think the Saints receivers are good enough to beat the Titans through the air. I like the Colts minus the 9.5. They're giving 9.5 points. They're giving 2 scores, but that's against the Jaguars, and that's with Jonathan Taylor playing some super football right now. Again, Frank Reich is playing well. I mean, Carson Wentz is playing well too. So this is a team. They play well on defense. They're strong, and I don't see Jacksonville doing what they did last week. And I am taking the Bucks 9.5. Again, a 2-score spread, but they're playing a terrible football team in the Washington football team. And the Washington football team has lost Montez Sweat with a broken jaw. He's not going to be on the field. And I don't have faith in Tyler Heineke as a quarterback. I don't think he's as good as a lot of people want to give him credit for being. And I think Tampa Bay, coming out of the bye week, are going to be rested. They're going to be strong, and they move the ball on the ground and through the air as well as anybody, as well as they're strong defensively. Their secondary is getting healthier. So this is going to be a tough week for Washington. I think the Buccaneers dominate by more than the 2 scores.
The matchup I'm looking at, and it depends on the health of a couple quarterbacks, but I always find the Seahawks and Packers to be very entertaining.
That's going to be a good one too.
Yeah, 425 one that I will be tuned into. Russell Wilson is going to play. Chris Carson is not, and it looks like Aaron Rodgers is going to be back.
Good play. Yes. So, yeah, that's going to be a tough one. I'm telling you. The Seahawks with Russell Wilson are a completely different team.
Yeah.
And oh God.
I wonder how he's going to play in his first game back, though. I mean, we really haven't.
The problem is they rushed him back. He rushed himself back. He wanted to get back.
Right. Yeah.
So,
and you talked about Dak coming back a week early. I mean, maybe Wilson's coming back a little bit too early. We'll see. And he doesn't have his starting running back. That doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. But he still has his wide receivers in Lockett and Metcalf. So that's a hell of a combo to have, be able to throw to. But he's rated on my statistics as one of the best quarterbacks in the league this year. When he went down with his injury. So it's their defense is tough. They're very hard to move the ball against. They're tough to score against. It's a bend but not break defense. So even when you're in the red zone, they're a tough defense to put up 6 points on. So that makes a big difference. Now, Aaron Rodgers. The less I say about Aaron Rodgers, the better.
Yeah. He'll be back. We'll say that. And Jordan Love, how disappointed were you in Jordan Love last week?
I wasn't disappointed at all.
I mean, I think as a number one pick, he's in his second season. Yeah, he hasn't had any playing time, but
normally the Packers are very good at preparing quarterbacks to play. He was not prepared well to play. He does not look like he knows what's going on yet.
Right.
And I don't know if he's going to get there. As I say, he's had a year to sit on the bench and kind of work with Rodgers. And he just did not look ready last week. So you got to wonder if that dominance by Packers quarterbacks are coming to an end, and Rodgers, once Rodgers is gone, that's pretty much it for the Packers. We'll see. As far as I'm concerned, Packers could fall to the bottom of the league, and that would be outstanding. I could live with that. But I'm a Bears fan.
We appreciate your objectivity.
Yeah. One thing to look at: the Packers are 3-2 against teams over 500 this year. Uh, the Seahawks are 0-4. So the Seahawks have made their name, but against some of the lesser teams in the NFL. The Packers have beaten some tough teams. So you might want to look at that being home. That is a big difference, is the fact that the Packers can do that um, against some of the top competition in the league. Normally, if you want to be a winner, you go 500 against the top competition and you beat the hell out of everybody else.
Right.
And that's how you make the playoffs. That's how you do it. As long as you can play 500 against winning teams, you're going to go and dominate everybody else on your schedule. Packers do that as well as anybody. So it's going to be a tough game. They're favored by 3.5. Again, I was reluctant to take that game because of that half-point kicker. I don't like it. So we'll see what happens. That's going to be a great game. I'm going to be watching it just because I want to see the Seahawks beat the Packers. I don't know if they can do it. But again, Kansas City against Las Vegas. Can the Raiders come back from last week? And everybody keeps thinking that this is the week the Chiefs are going to come back and start showing what they have. And my opinion, everybody keeps looking at this Kansas City team as, when they look at them, they see the last 2 years, the Super Bowl caliber teams. They're not looking at this team.
Right.
And this team has got problems. And, it's going to be interesting to see. This is a big battle in the AFC West. They're both going to know what the Chargers have done by then. And it's going to be an excellent game to see who can turn things around and kind of get on track and take control of that division.
Should be another great week, fun week in the NFL. Thanks for making us a part of your Saturday. We'll be back next Saturday, noon Eastern time. We'll see you then.
Yep. Have a great week.